You served your country, whether military or spouse. Now you are stepping into a new and unfamiliar world. We would like to show you everyone's path is different through the stories of others in the military community. Grab your favorite beverage and prepare to listen to our next transition tale. Hi, this is Christina with another episode of Transition Tales. I am here with Angel Waymer. Is that correct?
Yes, that's me.
Yes. And she's here to tell us about her transition. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, my name is Angel Waymer. I am recently retired from the United States Air Force. I served almost 25 and a half years, a little over 25 and a half years in the intelligence community, and came in the military right out of high school, left my mom's home and joined the big blue Air Force. And now I'm here in San Antonio with my family. Been here now 2 years this past summer, and making San Antonio home.
Oh, that's awesome. You're my second guest. No, third. You're my third guest, and like they've all been Air Force. People are gonna think that like I only like Air Force people and only let Air Force people on the podcast.
No, we just like to talk.
It's the people that have reached out to me and
Right.
actually scheduled. I mean, I've had other services reach out. It's hard to get on a podcast. And,
Yeah.
some people want to rip the band-aid off and just do it, and other people I have to coax. So
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you're here. So can you tell us a little bit about what your transition was like?
This is going to be a not your typical transition story. Mine had a lot of left turns and right turns, ups and downs, stumbles and falls. So maybe it is a transition story that everybody can relate to. Just to kind of give you a little bit of background, how I ended up in San Antonio, I was in Korea, and my career field said, all right, we're going to send you after 1 year in Korea, being away from your family. We're going to send you to Fort Meade, Maryland. And I was like, no, I don't want to go to Maryland. That's cold. It's Fort Meade, and everybody I've talked to was miserable there. So no, I don't want to go there. So talked to my husband about it, who is also active duty military. He's still in right now and is getting ready to start his transition process. So that probably is a whole nother story. But talked to him and he's like, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to be a part of the community that he would have been in and would have put us in another geographically separated situation. So my family would have remained in Georgia. If I was going to go for a strike, I would have ended up in Maryland another year away from my family. And I decided that was just too much to sacrifice. And I had reached a point to where I had sacrificed enough and wanted to be with my family. So we did some great maneuvering in the, I guess the detailers, and a lot of people call them detailers, but are the people that give us our assignments, and they got us here in San Antonio. So here I am, San Antonio, was not preparing to retire. This is where I was getting to that. Hadn't had a checklist, TAPS briefing, or anything like that. I just got to San Antonio in August of 2018 and decided to go ahead and hit the button and retire. That's how I ended up in the retirement world, or down that process to transition. Not a lot of preparation. So if there was anything that I could say to people that's getting ready to transition, have an idea of what you want to do and where you're going. So I'll say that, which I didn't.
So what did you do after you retired? What have you been
So
doing?
so after I retired, I have been doing something completely unrelated to the military. I was a bartender for a little bit.
Oh, that sounds fun.
It was so fun. It was super, super fun. I went to bartending school because I like structure. Military people, we like structure. My husband is
Absolutely.
like,
We love
you
that
know,
structure.
you can just go work in a bar, be a bar bag. You don't have to go to training. They were very, you don't have to do that. I'm a bartender and I didn't go to training. I'm like, I like structure. I like to know what's expected of me, and I want to know what the end result's going to be. So I went to bartending school, did that for, what is it, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks. And then I started looking for a job. And I got hired on at a restaurant called me familiar. It was just getting ready to open up in the realm, part of the Cortez family restaurants. And I did that. I was a daytime bartender from September up until COVID happened. So yeah, that's completely outside of anything that I was preparing to do as I was going through my transition. I had a hiccup in life that kind of pushed me in that road, and it helped me find out really who I was and how to handle adversity in going that way. So, one of the things that we learned when we met is like being able to tell your story and being authentic with your story. My story was, I fell down and I fell down hard on my face, but through going in a lane that was completely away from what I was used to, the structure, the knowing what the expectations is and being able to have some sort of idea. When you go into the restaurant industry, there's structure, but to a point, it's very much okay, customer focused. How do you make that customer feel like they're the best person and the best thing to have walked into your facility? And how you do it is going to be different from person to person based off of their experience, their ability to engage and maintain good positive rapport. So it's not a cookie cutter checklist type thing. And that was really, really outside of my comfort zone. I had to really stretch to dig deep and figure out how can I relate to people that don't look like me, don't have the same experience that I have, don't even speak the same language, because it was Lord Cortez family restaurants. They speak English, but their main native language is Spanish. And I had to really stretch to fit in. But the thing that I loved about that transition is that I still stayed true to a part of who I am and finding a company that represented the core values that I believed in: integrity, honesty, taking care of their people, providing the best world-class customer service, putting that best foot forward at all times to the best of their ability.
So you talked about it. You didn't have a typical transition. I love when people say that, and I know why they do. So when I've gone to workshops and seminars and things like that, they always bring that person in that talks about their transition, and it was like it wasn't hard. They knew people. It accidentally fell in their lap.
Yeah.
They're usually high ranking. And I'm like, that is not a typical transition. Typically, service members change jobs 7 times.
Yeah.
5.5% of employed service members are under the poverty line for employment. So that's not a typical transition. The question I have for you though is, so we were in 4 block together, which means that you
Yes,
have
we
to have a
were.
pretty high education for that. So you're highly educated. You have all that experience in the military.
Yeah.
Why bartending?
So
Is that too hard of a question?
no, it's not. No, it's not. I'm just really trying to you know what? All I can do is be honest and be authentic. I made a bad decision. My transition mentally was not in the right space. One of the things that TAP does not prepare you for, that 4 block or even going through the Hire Night Heroes program, nothing really prepares you for that mental shift that you have to do. I was not ready to leave the military. I enjoyed serving my country. I enjoyed taking care of my airmen. My husband jokes and says that I was the type of person that if you cut me, that you had little blue Air Force symbols that was going to come pour it out of my skin, right?
You
That was
bleed blue,
me.
girl.
I did, for almost 26 years of my life. I left my mother's house at 18 and I never went back home. So the majority of my life, that was what I knew. That was, and I lived it, I breathed it, was proud. It was a part of my identity. So in losing that piece of my identity, they don't tell you that you're supposed to grieve. They tell you you need to get your resume together, get out there, start networking. You need to go to all these different events so people can see you. You got to be at this spot and that spot and all these different things. But I have yet to hear somebody say, you know what? It is okay. I know you did. You did.
I'm going to say it. I'm going to go ahead and toot my own horn right here in the
Yeah.
middle of your podcast. That is what my program talks about. One of the things
Yeah.
is grieving. Grieving what you're losing. Because even if you weren't happy in the military, you're still
Apart.
losing things. So, yes. And that is one of the things that I am so glad that you were willing to answer that question, because I think that has been so important for people to hear from somebody other than me.
Yeah. Well, I look at it as that, I'll go down this road with you for a second. Is that I look at it like this, is that when you have something that you do, it's like when people, right now, football is just in season, right? We're just getting back into the NFL. And when these people that have been playing football since they were 6 years old, they get injured, they get hurt, and they can't go back to football. Sometimes they have a good transition, and sometimes we're hearing about how these multi-million-dollar people are broke, homeless, and now fighting not only the mental problems, but the physical problems that their body has on them as well, without a plan or support system to back them up, right? So I liken it to the same thing with those that have served in the military. We have been doing this for so long, or we were doing it for so long, and it is second nature to get up in the middle of the night, go do an exercise, to work 15 hours, to be busy. I looked in my closet when we were getting ready to transition. I think I said this at one of the 4 block meetings, that I looked in my closet. I had plenty of PT gear, plenty of uniforms, a couple of outfits to go on a date with my husband with, and that's about it. That's about it. So you have to grieve. You have to go through that transition. And I did not do that. So you take a year of me being away from my family in Korea. That was working through the own family dynamics of reintegration. So that's that. I go into a job that I particularly was not liking in the military. I'm like, I ran from this for 4 years. Why am I doing this now? But I'm going to take care of my people. So you add on to that the fact that I had to make that decision last minute, add on to that. So it was like a perfect storm leading up to the time that I was getting ready to retire. In May of 2019, I had just got back from my ceremony where I couldn't get to see everybody that I wanted to. I went back to my last base, and part of my tribe was missing. But those that were there were so important in my life, and and then there was big pieces missing, and I had to see that and process it. And we had a great time, party, whatever. But then you get back, and the celebration is over. The military is over, and you look at yourself. You're like, what now? And I got into a very, very, very dark space. Despite having support going through my transition through 4 block and Her and Our Heroes and recruit military and ACP and all these different things, and I'm on LinkedIn, but I never was honest with myself and gave myself the chance to grieve. So I sought other ways to handle that fear of the unknown, loss, expectation management, not meeting people's expectations, that have tried to mentor me, who've tried to coach me, who've tried to give me the tools to be successful.
Oh, did you not fit in their perfect little box?
I don't.
Is that how you possibly felt?
That is how I felt. And it was nothing that they did to me. It was the internal pressure that I was putting on myself by saying, well, I worked at USAA during my transition for my fellowship program. I obviously am supposed to be doing something with this. So let's chase this. Oh, okay, that didn't work. Oh, the finance people want me to come be a financial counselor. Girl, come on now. I can't even spell budget most months. I'm supposed to do that. So I chased every lead that people told me I needed to.
You were chasing the paths that they were telling you were shooting on yourself so hard, girl.
And it all came to a head one night when I made a bad decision. It locked me out of a community that I was so used to being a part of, where I lost access to the base. And I couldn't seek the support and the resources that I was used to having. So here I am. I'm out here all on my own. That I'm on my own in my brain. That's what I'm thinking. Like, oh my God, I'm all alone. Nobody's gonna want to, be around me. It was woe is me. My life is miserable. So in turn, I made my family's life miserable, which caused turmoil at home. So there's no peace at work. Normally there's a safe space for us as
Somewhere.
humans somewhere, be it in the gym, be it at home. When work is crazy, you got home. When home is crazy, you run to work. When work is crazy and home is crazy, shoot, you run to the gym. You find that space, or you get into book clubs or woodworking or fixing your car, or riding your bike, or whatever your release is. But I found no peace. I had no peace in my heart. And that was where I had to get honest and recognize the signs of depression, anxiety. And if I stayed on that path, it was going to be me becoming a statistic. Despite all the training, despite all the mentoring, despite all the coaches of recognizing signs of severe depression that we get taught. You can recognize it in other people so easy, but it's so hard to hold that mirror up to yourself. And people were telling me, Angel, you need to think. What are you doing? I understand. Why are you making these decisions? And it drove my best friend, and I know it drove my husband crazy. But I couldn't hear anybody. I was so caught up in just me. I got help though. And so the good thing is, and that's what I would say to other people, is that as you get ready to transition, take the time. I heard Quincy say on his deal, take 30 days to get to know who you are. Man, please, I need more time than that, because this girl right here is a barrel of confusion on a regular basis. And I can say now that coming through, my therapy, because I went and got help. I needed it. I needed it in order to save myself, save my marriage, save my family, potentially save my sanity. I got the help. And I had a great therapist, and she was wonderful. And she helped me develop the tools to recognize that despite the things that I heard growing up, I'm somebody different, and I don't have to go be in uniform again. I don't have to wear the uniform, because funny, even at Me Familiar, I was in a uniform, quote unquote. I had black pants, a white shirt, a tie, and my vest. That was my comfort zone. And it wasn't until she pointed it out to me, I was like, uh-uh. Yes, it is, Angel. Stop and think. But it's structure. It is what you know, and you seek that out. It's okay to not have that uniform. Let yourself get to know who you are. And so that's what I had to do. So
Yeah, the uniform thing got me too. When I started working, like I had a really hard time like dressing myself. So I actually created my own uniform for a
yeah.
while. So yeah, I totally get the uniform thing. You went through this hard time.
hmm
Do you think you're a different person now than you were when you first got out? Like, did you completely
Oh,
transform who you are?
I can say I am now I won't say a different person, but I can say that I can recognize my strengths and admit my weaknesses. Not all the time. Sometimes I still drag my feet and be like, that wasn't me. That was not my intent. Take it as I said it. No, but now I can recognize to say, hey, that probably wasn't the best way to handle that situation. What can I do to be better? What can I do to right this wrong, and really get to the heart of admitting where I could have done better, where I didn't meet the mark. Whereas before, it was very stubborn, not open to conversation. I don't want to deal with you. I don't want to deal with your opinion, because your opinion is not my opinion, and no, kind of thing. So I still have some growing to do, but I feel that now I can embrace the part of me that is imperfect, that has fear, that struggling to handle rejection. And that's a normal part of being a human. You know, in the military, there was no. It's like, hey, here's the mission, you get it done, find a way to get the yes. I don't want to hear no, I can't do this. It is, how can we do this in the time and space that the mission requires you to get done? And so when we have to hear no or even say no to certain things, it's an uncomfortable space for me, you know.
What?
So yeah,
Uncomfortable.
you know, so I won't say I'm completely different, but yeah, I think I have grown so much in these last few months, and just this is just here recently.
You talked a lot about the things that I really like to talk about too, like rejection. I think we may experience some rejection in the military, but not like we do when we transition out of the
Mm-mm.
military. And the other thing is when you're in the military, you're almost like you're playing a part. You are what they say you are, and when
Yep.
you're rejected, they're not rejecting you. They're rejecting Sergeant so and so or Captain
Mm-hmm.
so and so. And I think that's a little bit different. And
Yeah.
we don't know how to be. We don't, many of us join when we were young, like you joined
Mm-hmm.
when you were 18. I was 18 when I joined. We don't even know who we are. So when we get out of the
Yep.
military, we are just following directions still. Oh, write my resume like this. Oh, you're going to write it for me?
Yeah.
Sure. Great. Thank you. And then they all look the same. Because matter of fact, me and you looked at resumes.
Yes.
We both went through a certain organization and we compared resumes. And
Mm-hmm.
they were like
Very much the
95% alike. And I'm like, this is not how resumes are supposed to be. And it really is. They're still trying to put us in the, if you don't fit neatly into the box,
Yeah.
you're not going to get hired. And if you do get hired, you're not going to last. You are not going
Yeah.
to be happy. You're not going to last because
Yeah.
you can only pretend for so long to be what they want you to be. I had that my experience myself.
Yes.
So what have
And,
you been?
and
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, no, I was gonna just say amen, sister, because I think one of the things that through this transition, I think that everybody that does, be you in 4 years, 6 years, 10, or 20 plus years coming out of the military, is finding your authentic self is so important. And especially if you are a parent or a spouse or a leader in your community, you wear so many different hats. So you have to take off one hat to shift, and you're doing the hat dance all day long. But by the time you get to that little bitty sliver of time that's just for you, you're too tired. You're too tired and you're too overwhelmed, and your brain is racing with all these different things that you have to be a part of, that you cheat yourself. To me, I think that the path to authentic living, the path to finding your authentic self, is so very important. And you don't even have to wait to get out of the military. Just as you go through, putting on that uniform one leg at a time, know your reason, your why. They talk about your why a lot. What's your why? I listen to my Motivate app almost every day, and I love my Motivate app. Started really focusing in on I am meditations, because I've heard so many people tell me what I am that I didn't know what I am. I am what? What does that mean to you? Because my I am and measure of success is going to be completely different than somebody else's measure of success. And the fact that other people, and God bless their heart, they just want what's the best for us. They want to be in our corner and cheer us on. But I love my fellowship time at USAA. I learned a lot from some great people, but that was never my dream. That was never my dream. And they're a great company, military friendly, military ready, and the things that they're doing now, hats off to them. Not my dream. And I was so blinded by, hey, you got to be at USAA. What?
Yeah.
Wow, Angel, you must be doing something right. Meanwhile, I'm like, I have no idea what the heck I'm doing. I don't know, but I learned some good lessons.
Yeah. So before I say the next thing I'm going to say, I want to say I did not prep her to talk about anything that she's talking about on this podcast, because that is the things you're talking about is what I promote. I talk about it more of defining your values, because that's your path, and setting your goals, which are your milestones along that path, so you continue to stay on your path of purpose. And I also talk about heavily about defining success for yourself, not just in career. And what does success mean to you as a parent? What is your definition of relationship success?
Hmm.
And so I swear, you guys, I did not prep her for that.
No,
But
this is just me.
I know I love it. Like, I don't hear a lot of other people saying that I haven't had deep conversations with that about. So it makes
Oh,
me happy that somebody else is thinking that way and other
oh
people are
yeah.
promoting it.
The tips that I took, and my takeaway from the different programs, because you name a program, girl, I was in it. And it drove my family crazy because I was gone. Yeah, I went to this meet and greet and that meet and greet and this networking event and that training event. Oh, I got to be here. I was all over the place. I had no vector. I was all thrust, no vector, like we say in the military.
You were
I
trying
was
to
all
figure
over
it
the place.
out. You
I
were
was
just trying to
exactly
figure it out.
trying to figure it out, but not stopping. And I feel like, to me, COVID is a blessing and a curse at the same time.
Yes. Another thing we agree on.
Because uh, it made us, and I'll say us as humans, and I won't even talk about the humans, I'll just talk about Angel. It made me as Angel have to slow down. In the military, it was go, 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 go. Gotta, prep for this exercise, EPR, mentorship, counseling. Oh, you a senior leader, so you better be at the Air Force ball. Happy birthday, Air Force. Uh, you know,
Right on.
you gotta be at the Air Force ball. Oh, your airman is graduating from ALS. You need to be there. Show your support. This person got this going on. The commander needs you to lead this. We had so much going on. And then, oh, now you add on the other hat, I'm a wife. I gotta be there to support my husband, what he got going on. Oh, I'm a mom too. So I gotta be there for this cheer and that band and karate and just being a good mom to a kid that's over 20. Because that parenting don't stop. My daughter will be 26 in October. Parenting does not stop. They lied to me. They lied to me. They lied so hard. They lied.
I thought it stopped too, and I'm
That mess
finding
don't
out it
stop.
doesn't.
It don't stop. It's continuous
I
until
think
the
it
day
gets worse.
different podcasts and more wine. So wine would be needed for that one. But
Hey, we'll do a podcast on parenting. I'm serious.
no, but all these different hats, and being able to follow a path, like no, 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 no. Step back. I didn't step back and say, all right, now that I've learned this information, how do I apply it? How do I take the ability to do a streamlined process or Kanban, or being able to communicate with higher level executives and not freak out? How do I take that, learn from that lesson and apply it? How do I take, hey, you know what? I was told no. How did I handle that no? What was the emotions behind that no? Did I freak out and shut down? Yeah, I did. Okay, so now that you've done that, what's next? So instead of just going from program to program to program, stop and think. COVID made me stop and think, because I was completely content and happy getting up, driving to my little restaurant, giving the best bartending experience that I could. It helped me learn how to have a disagreement without any rank. Because when you are the most junior person on your team, I'm in sponge mode, right? I was in sponge mode. I'm learning, I'm observing, and I made some mistakes, and it was bad. I had to go into the walk-in and had tears, but they knew my heart and that I cared. I cared about my company. I cared about the customers, and they saw that. So they was like, Angel, it's okay to make mistakes. You are not perfect. Where did you come from that you think that you're gonna just walk into this and master it right away? I was like, I was in the military. That's what they told me I'm supposed to do. You know, I'm supposed to walk in and own it, right? Mm-mm.
Fake it till you make it.
Boom. Exactly. So, but now I'm on a completely different journey. I've been home since since COVID, taking care of my family. Never wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. No, it's not in the tea leaves for me. But I have been. I homeschooling with my son, helping my daughter get her confidence to drive. She's now in college. My husband, he still goes off to work every day. I make sure that dinner's ready, that the house is neat to a point where at least he ain't tripping over nothing. Because you be home all day. It ain't gonna be spotless. Because then that's not a home to me. I've been there, done that. Was checklist driven to where my home had to be spotless. But it didn't live, it wasn't a home. Now,
Right.
now my house is a home. My house is a home, and my inner beings inside of myself is so much happier because I've had to slow down. And when I saw myself just these last couple of weeks getting caught up in the spin, like, okay, I need to get a job, I need to do this. So I'm starting to be a part of this, starting to be a part of that. I stopped and I'm like, no, Angel, we've been down this path. Pick one thing, stay focused and committed, and you'll be successful. Pick one thing, stay focused and committed, and you'll be successful. And so that's what I've done. I got two things. My passion and my outlet is Zumba fitness. I'm a Zumba fitness instructor. I was teaching at a gym, but with COVID, it shut down. So I transitioned to online. So now I teach class online. Do I have a big class? No, but I have a faithful student that looks forward to spending that 1 hour away from everything else she got going on to get her mind and her body healthy. And that's what I do. One of the things in my Motivate app I heard is that, like, you never stop evolving. You never stop growing. You never stop learning. Because we have so many different layers of our military service, there will come a moment that you'll be triggered, and it'll be like starting over again. You're like, Dad gummit, I already worked through this. Why am I feeling this way now?
That
What
happened
did
to me
I
the other day.
see? And it's going to happen. The key is, I feel, is having those tools, having your toolkit armed, primed, and ready to say, when I see it, not shut it down. And that's what I learned in my therapy too, is like, whenever I would get those feelings of rejection come in, I just bury it, where I need a cement block, I need some lime, throw a gravestone on it, done. No, 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 no. You can't do that, because just like we prepare for Halloween and, those caskets in Thriller are coming out of the grave, it will come out. And it might be at the worst time for you to have to deal with that. And then there it is in your face. You have to deal with it. I know I'm growing. This year was the first year I was able to celebrate my mother's birthday. She's been gone for a long time now.
That's
And I've
amazing.
and I've never been able to do that. I got a Zoom call together with my family. We had the drink that she would drink every day after work. And it's a terrible drink. Canadian Miss. It is a terrible drink. But my mom loved it.
What is it?
It's a whiskey. It's terrible. It's
Canadian
terrible.
Mist whiskey.
Yeah, it's a
I'm
whiskey.
a whiskey drinker. It must be really bad because I've
Yeah,
never
it's
heard of
awful.
it.
It's awful. It's so yeah, it's awful. But my mom loved it, and my dad was Seagram 7, so that's what we did. My family, we got on Zoom, we talked, and we was able to share stories about growing up and having a good time and discuss some of the not so good times. But that was the first year I was able to do that. And so that lets me know, Angel, you're on the right path. You're healing. You're healing some of the things that you experienced growing up. You're healing some of the bad decisions that you made coming out of transition. You're able to face the day, God's grace that's over my life, over my family's life, with a positive interaction, instead of waking up saying, oh God, it's Monday, or oh my God, I got to get up again. No, like, yay, I'm fortunate. I get to get up. I get to get up and take care of my family and get up and go for my walk, get up and prepare for my Zumba class or studying for my Security Plus test. Like, I get to do these things. And that is a privilege for me to be able to say that now, whereas it was not before. So
So you're working on Security Plus. Are you trying to get a
I
position doing
I
IT?
am. I am. So that was another thing COVID helped me realize that certain industries are going to be here. And by here I mean San Antonio. If you recall, during our 4 block time, I was like, yep, I'm going into learning and development. And I
Oh
understand
yeah.
if I have to go in at a learning development. I was passionate about getting into the learning and development career field, which is under HR, right? Just knew I was going to be called to do that. And then I started looking around for positions here in San Antonio because we knew that we didn't want to move, right? Well, pretty good chance we weren't going to move. Well, I will be honest, HR is not really on and popping in San Antonio. That is not an industry that is willing to accept a brand new person without your APHR or your SHPR process, right? You don't walk in the door with that certification. They're like, yeah, you cool. You can talk real good. Bet you can teach your butt off, but yeah, we're good on that.
You don't check
You
the right
know,
block. You don't check the right
you
box.
know. So I'm like, okay.
So so you would say your biggest challenge was what?
My biggest challenge in transitioning, way to keep us on track, because we've been all around the world.
I
Uh,
know.
but my biggest challenge in transition, I think, was just getting to that authentic self and trying to figure out what I wanted to do, what was going to be the best move for me, and staying dedicated to that instead of going down this path and that path, or try this, try that, and not having a cohesive battle plan that was mine. I think that was my biggest challenge, which was the trickle down effect to some of the other decisions that I made.
Okay.
So yes, I feel like having a authentic conversation with yourself and turning out all the outside influence. Those transition companies or transition agencies, what are they called? Trans
The
support
veteran
organizations.
support
They're the
officer,
acronym for.
VSOs.
Yes, there you go. VSOs. They are amazing. They are great. But when you are ready to receive them, if you are not ready to receive that information, it's going to go in one ear and out the other.
Absolutely. So that's your advice
Yes,
then too, is to find out who you are.
absolutely. Find
Okay.
out who you are 100%. Once you know who you are and where you have a good 80%, I'll even say 70% of like this is what you want to do, the industry, then you focus on that. And you focus on that and only that. Because all these different incoming advice cannot be received and processed properly. And then you're wasting not only their time, you're wasting your time. And I feel like I burnt a lot of bridges with different people that tried to give me help because I didn't have the brain capacity or the heart to follow up or follow through or double back. I just was so overwhelmed with everything. But now I have a set path. I've been studying this one path, and since May, I've been doing this. In the May, I've been on the Security Plus path, and I am seeing successes. I have my good days, my bad days, but focused on one thing, and I'm focused on my why, and I know how to bring my military intel experience to this community to forge a great analyst in the IT world.
That's awesome. So I like to say thank you for being here. I appreciate your candidness on your story. This has been every episode is different based on the person that I'm talking to. And that's one of my favorite things about these podcasts is that we just kind of show up and just kind of see how things roll. So I really appreciate having you on here. Do you have any final words before we sign off?
I want to say thank you. Thank you for allowing me the time and space to share my story. Hope that just like you say, if you help one, worth it. And I hope that by us having this candid conversation, that it'll help somebody transition and not, even if they're not even affiliated with the military, but to live, their best authentic self. And I think you're doing an amazing job in the space that you've created for yourself, and wearing that red lipstick, girlfriend.
It's Red Friday.
Yes, go, 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 go. And I just want to say thank you. And I appreciate it. And thank you for your candid conversation back with me. It's like catching up with the old friend.
Yeah, it is. So this has been another episode of Transition Tales. We had Angel Waymer, who is an Air Force veteran. We'll catch you next time.